What if I told you that in America, some people don't start building wealth by buying a dream house? They start by buying a property that pays them back? And no, I'm not talking about some fake, get rich quick with $0 internet fantasy. I'm talking about real estate strategies that regular people use when they don't have a huge pile of cash sitting in the bank. Because let's be real, most Americans are not walking around with $50,000 or $100,000 ready for a down payment. Rent is high, groceries are high, insurance is high, car payments are crazy, and by the time the paycheck hits the account, half of it is already gone. So the question is not, how do I buy a mansion? The real question is, how do I get into a property that can help me earn income instead of just draining my wallet every single month? Now, the first thing you need to understand is this: zero money does not mean zero responsibility. A lot of people hear no money down and think it means free property. No, that's not how America works. Banks are not just handing out houses like candy. You still need credit, income proof, a clean financial profile, and you need to understand the numbers. But what zero or low money really means is this: you use smart financing, down payment assistance, seller credits, partners, or someone else's property to create income. The goal is not to look rich. The goal is to make the property work for you. Section 2. The low down payment blueprints. One of the most practical ways to start is called house hacking. This is probably the most beginner-friendly real estate strategy in America. Instead of buying a single-family home where you pay the whole mortgage alone, you buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. You live in one unit and you rent out the other units. So imagine this: you buy a small duplex. You live on one side and another family rents the other side. Their rent helps pay your mortgage. Now your housing cost drops. Maybe you were paying $2,000 in rent before, but now, because of the tenant, your out-of-pocket housing cost is cut in half or completely wiped out. That is the game. You are not just buying a house, you are buying a small income machine. And here's where it gets interesting. In America, some loan programs allow people to buy homes with incredibly low down payments if they live in the property. For example, many first-time buyers look at FHA loans because they allow a down payment as low as 3.5%. Veterans can qualify for VA loans, which are extremely powerful because eligible buyers can often get into a property with 0% down. And some rural or suburban areas qualify for USDA loans, which also offer a 0% down payment option. Now again, this does not mean everything is free. You still have closing costs, inspections, repairs, insurance, taxes, and reserves. But compared to a traditional commercial investment loan that demands 20% to 25% down, these owner-occupied loans make the first property way more realistic. Another practical angle is renting out rooms. This is not glamorous, but it works. Let's say someone buys a 3-bedroom house using one of those low down payment loans. Instead of living alone and struggling with the full mortgage, they rent out 2 rooms to roommates. Maybe each roommate pays $700 or $800. Suddenly, a mortgage that looked scary becomes much easier to handle. A lot of people want privacy, and I get that. But in the beginning, wealth building is not always comfortable. Sometimes you sacrifice comfort for a few years so your future self can breathe. The rich call it strategy. The middle class calls it sacrifice. But honestly, it's the exact same thing when the math works. Section 3. Hidden leverage. Now let's talk about down payment assistance. A lot of Americans don't even know this exists. Many states, cities, and counties have programs specifically for first-time homebuyers. Some help with grants you never have to pay back. Some help with forgivable loans. Some give second mortgages to cover part of the down payment or closing costs. The mistake people make is they only go to Zillow, look at the sticker price, and say, "I can't afford this." But smart buyers search for local assistance programs. They talk to lenders who actually understand first-time buyer programs. They check city housing websites. They ask, what programs are available in my area? Because sometimes the help is there, but nobody talks about it on TikTok because it's not flashy. Seller credits are another powerful move. Most beginners only negotiate the price of the house. Smart buyers negotiate the cash needed to close. For example, if a seller really wants to move their property, you can ask them to contribute a percentage toward your closing costs. That means thousands of dollars less that has to come out of your pocket on closing day. Now, this depends on the market, the loan type, and the deal. You can't just demand it everywhere, but in the right situation, seller credits can make a huge difference. The point is, real estate is not only about price, it is about terms. Sometimes the terms matter way more than the discount. Section 4. Partnerships and arbitrage. Another way people get started is through partnerships. But this is where you have to be careful. If you don't have money, you need to bring something else to the table. Maybe you find the off-market deal. Maybe you manage the property. Maybe you handle tenants. Maybe you have perfect credit, or you know how to fix things. Nobody with money wants to partner with someone who brings nothing but excitement. Excitement does not pay the mortgage. So if you want a partner, bring value. And always put everything in writing. Who owns what percentage? Who pays for repairs? Who gets the property? profit. What happens if one person wants out? A handshake deal can destroy friendships and families when money gets involved. Now here's another strategy: master leasing or rental arbitrage. This is not buying property, but it can create property income. Basically, you rent a property from an owner, get written permission to sublease it, and then rent it out in a way that creates profit, like a corporate rental or a short-term rental. But let me be very clear, you cannot just rent an apartment and secretly Airbnb it. That will get you sued, evicted, and fined. You need a written corporate lease from the landlord, you need proper commercial insurance, and you need to follow city rules and HOA terms. Done right, it can work. Done wrong, it can become a financial nightmare. Section 5. The truth about risk. The biggest mistake beginners make is they fall in love with the property instead of the numbers. They see nice kitchen cabinets, a cute backyard, and fresh paint, and suddenly they forget the math. But real estate income is not about vibes, it is about cash flow. You need to know the mortgage, taxes, insurance, repairs, vacancy, utilities, property management, and emergency costs. If the rent is $2,000, but your real monthly cost is $2,200, that is not an income property. That is a monthly donation to your lender. The property must make sense after all expenses, not just on paper. And please understand this: repairs are real, tenants are real, vacancies are real, toilets break, roofs leak, people pay late, insurance goes up, property taxes go up. So before someone says, "I bought a rental with no money," ask them the next question: do you have reserves? Because buying the property is only the first step. Surviving the property is the real game. A broke landlord is just one bad repair away from panic. Section 6. Your next move. So what is the best beginner path? First, clean up your credit. Pay bills on time, lower high-interest debt. Stop making big purchases before applying for a loan. Second, learn your local market. Don't just watch national videos. Every city is different. Third, talk to a real lender, not just random internet comments. Ask about FHA, VA, USDA, and local assistance programs. Fourth, look for small properties that reduce your living cost, not your dream house, not the house to impress your friends, the property that makes financial sense. Fifth, run the numbers like a boring accountant, because boring math can save you from exciting bankruptcy. The truth is, real estate can change your life, but only if you respect the risk. You can use low money strategies, but you cannot use low thinking. You need a plan. You need backup money. You need patience. You need to understand that no money down is not magic. It is leverage, and leverage can build wealth, but it can also crush you if you don't know what you are doing. In America, you don't always need to be rich to start with property, but you do need to be smart. Start small. House hack, rent rooms, use legal assistance programs, negotiate seller credits, bring value to partners, learn the numbers, and don't chase fancy real estate content that makes everything look easy. The people who win are not always the people with the most money. They are the people who understand the game, control their risk, and make one smart move at a time. Because the goal is not just to own property. The goal is to own property that helps pay for itself. And once you understand that, your home stops being just a place to sleep and starts becoming the first step toward financial freedom. If you want to see the actual math breakdown on how a house hack works in today's market, drop a comment below. And if you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more insights on money, investing, and building wealth.